willkommen zur neuen Ausgabe SI Talk. Ich bin heute auf der Vancouver Resource Investment Konferenz. Neben mir Keith Neumeyer, ich brauche ihn nicht groß vorstellen, aber was ich machen muss, ich habe einen Conflict of Interest. Ich bin Aktionär des Unternehmens. Und erste gute Nachricht ist, Keith, I said in my German introduction, I have a conflict of interest, but my first view of this conference was that it was more busy than the last one in January. What is your feeling?
It seemed to be. I would agree with you. I've only been here for just the last couple hours, but the crowds are definitely here today.
It was also on the Metal Forum yesterday. The people say much more people attend this year, and it looks like that resource coming back into a mind from the people. Maybe it's also related to the wheat thing, that wheat is going down. The cannabis boom is a little bit over. But coming to your company, when I look at the last news release and look at the special to which mine produced something, then it looks totally different to First Majestic 5 years ago. So you do a lot of change. So my question is now: do you now on the end of them that you convert the company to a total new company, or is it still a process and you're working continually on improvements on all on all ends what you can handle?
Well, Joe, you've been following the company for a long time. I think early 2006. I think it goes back that far. So you've watched this company develop over many years, and we're in our 18th year now. And I would argue with you that every purchase that we've made, every acquisition we made, was transformational. They were just smaller mines. But our first acquisition in 2004. Then 2006 we did a couple acquisitions, and in 2009, 2010 we started investing in building mines, Del Toro, La Cantata, and then we had a big ramp up in production in 2010, 2011. Perfect timing for the silver price to go to $15 an ounce, and our stock went to $26 an ounce, if you remember, or $26 a share Canadian back then. That was a lot
of fun.
A lot of fun, and a lot of people made a lot of money. A lot of our German friends, a lot of our German investors made a lot of money, back then. And then, of course, the metal prices dropped substantially over the next 5 years, and we took advantage of that and bought two really good mines, and we took out
big mines too.
Yeah, big mines. Yeah, Santa Elena, 6 million ounce producer, San Dimas, a 13 million ounce producer. These mines don't come every day. These are very rare acquisitions, and it was the market that allowed us to buy them, because those companies, both Silvercrest and both Primero, were in very distressed situations, and we fortunately we were big enough, and we had the money, and we just went in there and bought them both up, and today we're a completely different business. And now what's happening today is the smaller mines. The mines that are producing only 1 million ounces of silver, they're not even getting our investment anymore. Because it doesn't make any sense for us to invest in these small mines when we're not getting the benefit of the investment. We put the same amount of money into San Dimas or Santa Elena, and we can see that we're going to increase production dramatically. So it has become a different business. It's very exciting. What's next? We'll see.
Okay. I like this when you say, we'll see. That's mean for me that we are still in a tough market, we must say.
Yeah, it's not perfect.
Is gold doing well, silver doing well? The last half year was really better than the few years before. But we saw still a lot of companies, they are really in distressed situations. So, but coming to the mines itself, technology, I think technology will getting a bigger portion in our area. Before it was really main power was working, and now it's more technology coming in. How First Majestic handled this new opportunity, I must say?
Well, I think part of the answer, if you go to our presentation, which you've done, I know, for the last couple of years, you've seen the technologies that we brought into the business. And we started back in 2012 when the market started to really look ugly and silver prices started to collapse. And we had some very difficult decisions to make back in 2012, 2013, 2014. We started laying off people, of course, because we had to, because the metal price was dropping so badly. But at the same time, we decided to bring in a whole group of people that were focused on technology. And we were very early. Some other mining companies are now doing it today. They're following our lead. I wouldn't say we're a leader per se, but we're one of the leaders. Companies like Goldcorp and Tech Kamenko and Nico Eagle, and there's some really, really good mining companies out there that are doing some fantastic things. But for a company our size, we're doing a lot. And the HIG mills, the new flotation technologies, just automating stuff, just people throwing chemicals in tanks by hand. That just makes zero sense. Why not just do it, just automate it? And we've done things like that over the last 5 years. And our recoveries, I mentioned this morning in my presentation, back in 2014, our global recoveries, meaning the amount of metal we take out of the rock, was 65%. So we were getting 65% of the silver out of a ton of rock. And, and the mining sector as a whole, kind of accepts that. Right? And so, it's okay, 20, 30, 40%, well, not 40, but 20, 30% of your metal is just going into waste, and that's acceptable. Well, we decided that wasn't acceptable, and we started doing something about it. And our Q3 numbers, which came out a month ago, so our recoveries were 88%, the highest in the company's history. And our metallurgical team expects that's going to get through 90% next year.
Wow, it's a big improvement, especially when you say you have this rock on surface. So and this cost a lot of time and manpower also to bring the rock out.
A lot of energy.
A lot of energy, and then you lose 35%, and now you lose only 12%. That's a big advantage.
That's right.
That's the reason why the average price, the all-in cost coming down.
That's exactly right. Cash costs and all-in costs coming down, and profitability going higher, and that gives us a lot of flexibility.
What is your expectation for 2020 on production size and maybe average cost?
Yeah, production in 2020 is going to be very similar to 2019. We have been very focused on technology and upgrading these mills. The Santa Elena mill we focused on in 2019, and recoveries there have gone from 88% to 95-96%. And San Dimas does not have that investment yet, though San Dimas gets that investment this year.
Okay.
So there's a lot of money going out the door in 2020, and we have seen some increase in production at Santa Elena, but Lincoln Tata and San Dimas are basically flatlining for 2020. So they need these new investments. 2021 and 2022, that's going to be exciting.
Okay.
That's when we're going to see the big increase in production.
Okay. And maybe also we see some on the acquisition side, hopefully too.
Yeah, I get asked the question all the time, and it's funny. It's like we've been acquiring stuff for 17 years. And I'm probably the last CEO that you should be asking, when is our next deal going to happen? Because we're always looking at deals. Right? That's how we put this business together. I'm not a geologist or an engineer where I'm drilling holes. Not that we don't drill holes, but we have not discovered one of our mines. Every one of our mines we've purchased, and that strategy is not going to stop.
It's in the DNA from First Majestic.
That's right. It's in my DNA, and I'm a banker. I came from the finance side. I like buying stuff as long as it makes sense, and I love buying distressed assets.
And that was a good strategy for the last few years, or for the last 18 years, I must say.
For sure. Every mine we bought needed money, needed people, needed time. And we brought all those skill sets to every mine that we've ever bought in the history of the company, and we built the company what it is today.
So what is your personal feeling about the market?
I'm an optimist. So, I think that we're in the beginning of a new bull cycle in metals, in precious metals, and whether it's going to be another 10-year cycle, who knows, right? I don't have a crystal ball, but with the constant money printing and the low interest rate environment that doesn't seem to be possible for the federal governments around the world to let go of. I think the G20, the world governments have no choice but to just continually try to rescue this economy, and they're just going to keep pumping money, printing money, and they're not going to stop. It's completely the wrong thing that they're doing. This whole repo situation in the U.S. is obviously showing signs of a problem that is existing. The recent news that's come out is now the Federal Reserve is actually going to start financing hedge funds. If that is actually true, then basically that's the end of the system. You're going to see these governments. Well, we're at $22 trillion U.S. deficit today. What's it going to go to? 40 trillion.
For example, the Austrian government financed last year with minus 0.19%. Minus 0.19. Normally you think when you lend somebody money, you should get interested, but you pay actually interest.
Yeah. And the questions who the buyers of this stuff, right? And it's not the pension funds. It's not the investors like you and I who are buying these zero interest bonds. It's the governments. They're all colluding among each other, so they're all buying each other's paper, and then it's just they're floating this whole scam.
And also in Europe is that it's interesting when the ECB bought all these government bonds. They bought it through the local government national bank. So the ECB gave the order to the Austrian National Bank to buy Austrian bonds. So, and the owner of the Austrian National Bank is the government. So, and you buy Austrian bonds, so you is the left hand, right hand.
Yeah, exactly.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is just floating money back and forth. And it's just paper. They're just floating paper. That's all it is. And this paper gets pushed into the stock market. It gets pushed into places that doesn't help the normal citizen. So that's what's creating this whole discord or anger, I suppose it is almost in a way around the world. People are getting very frustrated with politicians and with governments, and you're seeing riots now showing up throughout the world in several countries around the world, and it's getting to be quite a concerning situation. I've not seen so many problems on the planet than throughout my entire life.
And problems should be good for gold and silver.
Right. Yeah, and it's unfortunate to have to profit from such events, but we might as well try to make the best of it. If your currency, your currency, the euro, or the Canadian dollar, my currency, or the U.S. dollar, it's just paper, and you might as well. If you're smart, and this is why you're doing this interview, obviously, is we're trying to convince people to at least try to take care of themselves, and I think gold and silver is definitely a place to go.
Absolutely, Keith. Thank you for the update.
And the German government obviously seems the same way.
And I think the Germans are we in Austria, we have now a new government with really young people on it. Also the Green Party, we should not believe it. But then when you look at what they want to do in the next 5 years, it's not so stupid than some other governments, I would say it in this way. So
is in Austria you still have the same rules in Germany about buying physical metal?
A kind of, not German going down to 2000 level now that you can buy it without any registration. Before it was 15,000. Now it's 2,000. In Austria we have other issue. It's tax on it.
Oh, I see.
So, but the new government says that he won't establish the old law what we have, that you have when you have some certain time the stocks, it's tax free.
I see.
So that was the old rule. After 1 year and 1 day, you have a tax free all the profits. And they think on it that there's re-established this law again, but we don't know exactly is it 1 year or 2 year or 3 year that you must hold the stock. But this is maybe not a bad move for us.
Yeah. Well, here there's no taxes on precious metals. Thank goodness.
Yeah, that's it's better. Update, First Majestic, kurz zusammengefasst, die Company schaut heute ganz anders aus wie vor 5 Jahren. Sie investieren viel in Technologie, was hochinteressant war, ist, dass sie vor 5 Jahren eigentlich nur 65% des Metalls rausgebracht haben aus den Erz, das sie aus dem Boden geholt hat, und jetzt sind wir bei 88%. Das alleine, dieser Fortschritt, diese Advantage, was sie da gemacht haben, ist natürlich extrem positiv, weil natürlich die Kosten dann natürlich beim Erz selber nach unten geht. Ja, sie sind nach wie vor auch auf der Suche nach Acquisitions, also Übernahmen. Das ist in der DNA von der First Majestic einfach verankert. Da ist die Company groß geworden. Zum Schluss haben wir dann sehr viel über den Markt diskutiert. Er hat noch nie so viel Unsicherheit gesehen, wie wir es jetzt gehabt haben. Auch das ganze Gelddrucken, Geldprinting, EZB, US-Dollar, egal welche Währung, es ist weltweit so. Zero Interest Rate oder Minus Interest Rate, das kann kein gutes Ende nehmen, und viele Unsicherheit ist gut für Gold und Silber. Und dadurch ist natürlich auch der Ort, wo man zumindest einen Teil seines Geldes investieren sollte, Gold und Silber Stocks. Ja, das war es, ein Update von First Majestic, hieß Neumeyer, Jänner 2020, Vancouver. Tschüss und Baba. Thank you, Keith.
Thanks, Joe. Great seeing you again.
Great to see you.